Welcome back to Business Insider, Mr. Van Ness.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show this evening.
It's always great to be here.
So, since the last time we talked, there have been some significant fiscal policy changes. Would you like to make an initial comment on the current state of the nation's economy?
Well, I mean, the nation's economy is clearly booming at a level that it's not seen in quite some time, with many broad industries showing tremendous growth and upside. Everything from housing starts to oil industry, and with interest rates rising, you got banking industry that's starting to thrive, and manufacturing. So just about every aspect of the economy is really showing tremendous growth.
Excellent. That's good to hear. That's better than the last time we talked on the show. So, most recently, sweeping national tax cuts and how they've affected you. Have they affected the day-to-day operation of your business?
Well, certainly they've given my business, and I think most others, new flexibilities, we have basically just an infusion of money.
Right.
Shortly after the tax cuts were implemented, after the first of the year, every employee in the firm, without even getting a raise, saw an increase in their pay, because when the new federal tax withholding rates were implemented, even with the same level of salary, every employee's withholding was less.
Right.
Therefore, their net paycheck in their pocket was increased. And
Exactly.
and when you put more money in people's pockets, they're happier and they tend to work harder.
Right, exactly. Which leads me into my next question. I was just about to ask about that. Does your worker morale and your productivity in general, do you see better production in your firm whenever you've implemented these changes and whenever these tax cuts have been implemented?
Absolutely. Not only do people like making more money
Right.
for giving the same efforts, but it allows the firm to give broad-based pay increases. We did that a couple of months after the new tax laws took effect, and everybody saw a decrease in their withholding, therefore an increase in their paycheck. We also gave a 5% increase to everybody's pay, which was again just a morale booster.
Right.
It allowed people to take better vacations within their own homes, have more security financially, and you could really see it in their work product.
Absolutely. So these tax cuts, they took place very recently, November 2017 to be precise, and their effects have been yet to be significantly documented throughout the course of them. But does your future, like 2018 business model, reflect this taxation decrease?
Well, it's funny you asked that, because we just got together the other day to decide what we were going to do. Throughout the years, there are always capital expenditures that you're considering, whether it be upgrading software, adding employees, adding things in our office, like you could upgrade computers, you can add printers, you can upgrade the actual physical infrastructure to make life easier, more productive for everybody. So
you're a living example of an employment rate increase.
well, I think it's throughout almost every industry and
Right.
business in the country. There's no hiding from it.
Right.
So, and it's we're in a service industry, and we haven't increased our rates yet, but that's another thing that you would see in an economy like this. More money goes into consumers' pockets. As a result of that, consumers are consuming and buying more goods.
Of course.
And when you have a stronger demand for goods, then you're going to see an increase in prices also.
Right.
So I would think, and so that's you're going to have people with more money. People are going to spend more money. You will see an increase in price. Therefore, retailers and producers and wholesalers will also be making more money.
Of course. So, in respect to your industry, you have one of the most widely respected law practices in the city. Do you expect to see other firms follow suit in respect to your recent expansion?
Well, I know. Just today, I went to a lawyer's office that I frequent over the years to have cases against remediations, and And I noticed he had a new address today, and I went, and he had a really fine new office and a beautiful build out, and it's not just a lawyer getting to enjoy that. When you have a fine new build out, there are workers that do the build out. So that's more people doing construction. It's a building that's getting a larger space and occupancy in their building. So it is it gets passed down the line from the top of the lawyer making the money, spending the money, and passing it down, doing more capital expenditures, it's putting more people to work. So it goes all the way down to the bottom line worker that's getting hired, because the people that are building out the buildings have more work than they've had in the past, so they have to hire more employees.
Exactly.
So that's how it really trickles down to everybody in the industry.
It's a positive domino effect.
Well, that's the reality of it.
Right, right. Now, to address the naysayers, you have people that aren't so excited about these tax cuts. Most of the opponents of the decreased taxation, they claim that only the wealthy top 1% benefit from tax cuts. And we kind of just addressed this, but why do you agree or disagree with this notion?
Well, this is an economic discussion. It's not a political discussion, but the words that you are hearing probably are only coming from politicians.
Right.
But it is in fact a true statement that even if it were the wealthy that were bringing in the money as a result of the tax savings, they're going to spend the money, which is going to require workers to be employed. It's going to be an increase in wages for those workers, that they become more competitive jobs.
Right.
More goods and services are going to be purchased.
Right.
And so everywhere from the business owner to the consumer to the producer to the line worker are all going to be in a position to make more money when there is less money being given to the government in the form of taxes.
Right. So your stance is that these business owners and the top 1% wealthy, they're not pocketing this extra cash. They're inputting it back into the economy and making it stronger.
Well, of course they are. They're, even if that is through building more businesses and creating and bigger businesses. I mean, wealthy people don't just put their money in the bank and let it sit there.
Right.
They do things with their money. They spend it, they invest it, they create new jobs, new businesses, and really the only people that are not impacted by a tax cut are people that are not making income.
Right.
So if you're not making income and paying taxes to begin with, then a tax cut does not look very attractive. In fact, it may hurt those people, because, as we talked about, the more goods or money that's spent, the more goods that are purchased, you would tend to see a rise in prices.
Correct.
So if you have somebody that's not a worker, may have the result being goods and services may cost more money for those people.
Right. Right.
At the same time, with the creation of jobs, because this country is creating more jobs than it has in decades.
Right.
And when unemployment gets lower and lower, that's fewer and fewer people that are unemployed, not making income. So they're going to be making income. Therefore, they're going to be paying taxes, and their taxes are going to be less.
Right.
So there is no legitimate, intellectually honest argument that in this booming economy, broad-based industries are positively affected. More people are at work. Those workers are paying less taxes. It is good for a majority, if not all, of Americans.
And you see this in your day-to-day life.
Absolutely. With every employee that walks in the door, every customer, in our case, clients that walk through the door.
Right.
I mean, they have more money to spend. They have more money in their lives. And more money doesn't always make it easier, but it certainly makes it easier to buy goods and services when you have more money.
Absolutely. And that's the purpose of this tax cut.
And it took about 5 minutes for it to work. And, as you can see by all the major corporations that immediately passed out bonuses and wanted to pass some of the future savings directly to their employees immediately.
Right.
And that's continued
Dividend shareholders, to say the least.
every week since this tax cut's taken place. And you see it in the positive outlook in the stock market being at record highs. Oil is recovering, the oil industry, there's becoming a world balance on the oil prices. You see oil now is approaching $70 a barrel.
Right.
And now they're talking about it going back to triple digits. Gold is remaining firm. So it's a broad-based industry. Some of them you usually see will counter each other. You know, as the dollar gets stronger, sometimes you see gold get weaker. But everything's moving in positive directions right now, and
Steady growth.
it's steady growth. And with this current administration's policies, they're certainly trying to even create more and more domestic production,
Right.
trying to get better deals on exported goods from the United States, which means you're going to have more goods being created in the United States, less imported goods. It's all designed to create jobs, manufacturing, production, and consumption in the United States of United States goods. And there can be no other result other than more employment, which is going to be higher wages, less taxes, more money that's staying here in this country.
Absolutely. I mean, we got to touch on many important subjects tonight, and I really look forward to seeing how these tax cuts affect your business operations, how you've told me they do, and how they continue to do so. And, best of luck to you in your 2018 business ventures, and we'll definitely have to catch up with you in the near future.
Well, I look forward to it. It's always a pleasure to see you and your audience. It's a very educated audience, and it's nice to speak to them.
All right. Thank you very much. This has been Cole Van Ness and John Van Ness with Business Insider.